Hey everybody, this is Dale over at the Artist Lounge. Know a lot of people are just getting logged in, so we'll give it a couple seconds for that to happen. Today we're going to be doing a painting. Wanted to do something today that really just, got our mind off of what was going on in the world, give everybody out there an option to have a little fun at home. If you don't have paint at home, crayons, colored pencils, even clippings from a magazine, go ahead, pull it out. Crafters, we'd love to see pictures too when this is all done. So if you could post those in the comments below, that would be awesome. So today we're going to be going in, doing this nice sunset scene right here. And don't mind Jessi, little technical difficulties in the background. We're going to be doing this nice little sunset scene. I can adjust the camera down in the bottom. You guys are able to leave comments. Jessi's going to be monitoring those. So hopefully, if you're painting along with us, I'll be able to answer as many of them while we're going as I can. So let's go ahead and we're going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and roll the colors across the screen for you guys. So these are all the colors that you're going to be needing, okay? If you need to know the exact colors, Jessi had that in the original live feed. I'll go ahead and start naming them off as I go. So if you don't have the colors, like I said, grab something else. If you take, you're using crayons, you're using colored pencils, markers, anything, go ahead and pull them out and let's make a fun painting together. So what I have here, I'm using a 16 by 20 pre-stretched primed canvas. I went ahead and threw this masking tape going across, just a little easier for me so I'm not adjusting like I normally do. This is one of those things, if you want to have a nice crisp horizon line, little painter's tape, it's real easy to do. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Sorry, had to get my plate. Go ahead and start with this. We're going to be putting in our sky first. First color I'm pulling out is a canary yellow. Bright yellow will work. Really any yellow for this. Anyone that wants to be exact, go ahead and grab some canary yellow. I'm going to go ahead and load it onto my brush. Now I'm just loading the end of the brush, as you guys can see. And I'm going to start right in the center of this canvas here. Just doing little circles and letting the paint run out with those little circles as I go further out. After I get further out, what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw streak of this yellow, so that way it pops into the background. So I'm just using up the last of the paint that's on my brush. And when we start to add the other colors, these are going to really pop out. Okay, so got our color in. That's going to be our sun area. As you can see from the original that we have here, we're not going to have much of that yellow showing, but it's going to blend well with the other colors. So I'm going to go ahead. Next I'm going to be working with a pumpkin orange. One of my favorite ones to use is like an apricot in doing this sunset, but for some reason I did it with the pumpkin orange, so we're going to stick to that theme there. So again, I'm just loading my brush a little bit, not washing my brush, in case you guys are wondering. I'm going ahead and just putting it more towards the corner side of things, and we're going to continue going around. We're not touching this middle yellow anymore, okay? So about a 50-cent size circle, let's leave untouched. We're going to be starting around the outside edge. And again, we're letting our paint run out as we go around. Doing little circles, side to sides, here and there. Okay, we'll get some more effects in there here in a second. Again, I'm going to take this down. I'm going to go ahead and use up the last of it on here. We'll be adding more of this orange here just to fill in some of the areas. Don't cover up all of your yellow. See right here where I got a little yellow showing? That gives a little depth towards clouds right there. Just going to grab just a little more. Next color we're going to be going into is red. And I'm not going to want the red to come all the way down here until I'm emptying what's on my brush. If your sun ends up being a little colored from this, it's okay. When it dries, you can go in, brighten it back up, and just bring that yellow back out. A lot of times, when it's wet, it's a little more of a struggle. Just to give you guys an idea, I'll go in and mix it around. It dulls it down. So in dulling it down, you lose that bright bang, the contrast that's created between the two. So if that happens, let it dry, move on to your red, like I'm about to do. And once it gets a little tacky, we can drop some more in there. So right now we're going to be going into the crimson red. Looks like barn red to me, but Apple Barrel went ahead and named it crimson red. But, a red's a red. It depends on what you're doing. If you guys, like I said, if you have other materials, crayons, colored pencils, markers, or just pick a red. Okay, we're going for this color scheme here. So what I'm doing is I'm starting at the top with my darker color, and then I'm pulling it down and letting it blend. So I'm just hitting that top area, and as it goes down, I'm going to leave some areas where there's white at the top, and I'll go in and throw some other colors in there. Biggest thing you don't want to do, like I said, same thing with the red. I'm only loading little bit of my brush here. If you go in and you're doing these little circular motions or anything like that, one of the things that I like to do, and this is just a personal preference, is I like to always just hit it side to side and break up that. Some areas I'm going to want to leave in, and I'm going to want that color to end up like really being bright with that red, like an area like this. So I'm not going to go in and pull that. I'm going to leave some of those shinier, brighter reds sitting right in there. I'd like to thank Peyton Manning for joining us tonight. Oh, you didn't join us, Jessi? Oh, never mind. Maybe tomorrow, Peyton. Y'all make sure you like, share, and try to get him here with us.
We do have Bill Clinton, though.
We do have a local celebrity here. You guys may have known him, Bill Clinton. He joined me tonight in studio. At the end, Bill's going to show you what he did. So if you see this little noise in the background, you're wondering what that's been. Bill's painting right along with me. Why don't you go ahead and say hi to him, Bill? Hi, Bill. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some of that orange, and I'm going to throw it into this red. Allow it to start mixing around. And you can just go back and forth between all your colors, letting them create these little lines. Most of my strokes on this are side to side. Like I said, if I go in and I'm putting in something swirly or all, crazy like that, I'm just hitting it at the end with a little side to side action. Everybody does it different. There is no set way of doing it. For me, it's always just been a preference. I like oil paints a lot, and I found myself just over time taking that and bringing it into my acrylics. I just knocked down the paint. With that being all set, I'm going to go back, and I'm just lightly knocking everything down. I'm going to go back, grab a little bit of that yellow, and I'm going to just throw it just right in the very middle. And I'm going to throw it in nice and thick. With it being in there, I am seeing the texture of my brush strokes. With this apple barrel style acrylic I'm using, this actually, it's almost like self-leveling. And when it dries, it's completely flat. You really can't see the brush strokes unless you add a medium or whatnot to it. And the medium would be like an acrylic gel or something like that you can add. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull off my tape. And look, I got a little out of control right there. That's okay. Putting in water. So from here, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking all these colors up here that we just used, the orange, the red, the yellow. I'm going to be throwing them in underneath. But I'm also going to be adding a true navy, this is called, to this. And I'm going to start with my horizon line with this true navy and then go in and start mixing all the colors in, keeping my brush strokes with this completely side to side, allowing the reflection of the sun to show and all that. So we'll get right into that. Can you give me my one brush over there, please, Jess? Sorry. The flat one. There you go. All right. So with this, I'm just using a flat. I think this is number 3. Maybe it's number whatever. I never really cared to learn the names of paintbrushes. Some people do. Good for them. So I'm going to teach you guys a little something that I could do, and maybe you guys want to do it at home. Turn your painting sideways for this. I'm going to be coming down, adding a nice clean blue line through here, and being right-handed, I'm going to be running that line down. I know what you're thinking, but Dale, what if I'm left-handed? Right? I know, you're probably thinking that, right? We're going to turn it the other way, just as a, yeah. Mind blown there. So we're going to go ahead, and I loaded just a little bit of that true navy on there, and I'm just going to go ahead and put that nice little clean line in. If there's breaks in the paint, you can reload it. It's okay, though. It's not the end of the world. I like to do this a little quicker, just because I'm going to be adding these other colors, and I want this blue to mix. So with acrylic, the way it dries, and I'm not using any of the different things that are out there to keep acrylic paint wet, so you can move it around and stuff. I'm just using basic old apple barrel, and if it dries fast, I had to paint fast. So with that, I'm going to go back to my 2-inch brush. I have a friend, Patty. She always busts on me whenever I saw her. She always says she saw how I like that 2-inch brush. I do like it. My man Bob used to use it back in the day. I'm going to go in on this line, and I'm going to add some of them little side to side, and I'm going to trail out where I want my sun to go. And while I'm doing that, it's just getting bigger, throwing some of these highlights right in there. And then when I'm done, I'm kind of just carrying it straight across that blue line. I think the neatest thing with acrylics is if you're not happy with what you like, or what came out, you just go ahead, let it dry, paint over it again. If it's a dark color and you want to add a little white to create that, you can do that. I'm sure some college professors will be like, but I'm not going to say anything. So, grabbing our yellow, or orange, going back in, I'm going to throw more of these orange streaks in. Keeping my brush strokes for this up and down, because I just left my canvas as is. I want to try to keep them as straight as possible, just to give that illusion of water. Now, I went back to orange, like you saw me put that blue line. I'm going to put plenty more blue in this, but I went back to orange to get these colors in, so when I do move on to it, it's not overpowering. So for those of you that may watch this and end up wondering about the Artist Lounge, it's a local family-run gallery here in Seneca Falls, New York. Jessi has been open for about 2 years now, and in those 2 years, she's done well over 100 painting parties. She does birthday parties here. She has over 60 local artists from the central New York area, and we also just recently put out our own series of paint. So if anybody's looking for alcohol paint, was the very first line that launched, feel free to reach out, get a hold of Jessi. She has a lot of really great ones out there, and she can post some pictures here soon in the comments and show you guys what she has. I went ahead and I'm going now into the orange. I added a little of that blue. I'm adding a little bit. I gotta learn my colors today. I'm adding a little bit of red in here now. So I'm gonna go ahead and start throwing that in. Keeping my strokes side to side. Looks like I might have blown out.
Elliot and Trip say hi, Uncle Dale.
Oh, Elliot and Trip. Thank you guys. Those are my nephews. So that's great. Glad you guys were able to stop by. And you know, with doing this, guys and girls and kids, you know, our reason for doing this is right now everybody's kind of unsure of things, can't go out. We want to give you this. We're going to be offering this every night at 7 p.m. So tomorrow we're going to have a really cool painting. Mind getting it, Jess? I'll show everybody. Tomorrow is usually one of the busiest days for us and is actually the very first painting party that Jessi did here at the gallery 2 years ago was St. Patrick's Day. So what we're going to be doing for everybody, and this will be a great one for kids, is we're going to be doing this Irish flag, really kind of tattered background, and then we're going to be doing luck. Yes, that's the K. Okay? So this will be a fun one. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. If you guys can, pass the word, spread, share, like, whatever you got to do. Really, I'm keeping it kid friendly. I know some of you guys have been to our adult parties. You know, things get a little crazy, especially when Bill Clinton joins me here in studio. So we're going to make sure we keep it kid friendly, so that way the whole family can enjoy doing something like this. Like I said, I encourage you guys, use any materials that you can get. And please post, you know, in the comments below, post what you did. I'm going to go through tonight and I'm going to have a Dale's Choice. That being said, whoever I pick, Jessi will message you, get your address, and I'm going to mail you one roll of toilet paper.
Don't make promises there, Dale.
Jessi don't want to part with the toilet paper. So, after getting that red in there, I'm going to go ahead and add some of this blue. Now, you'll see it every now and then when I'm down here working around my easel I'm not normally painting on. You know, you see me go side to side just to get that corner area. Then I fluff it up real quick while the paint's still wet. So that's also pending post offices stay open. That's a possibility right nowadays. I think they're essential. They are, man. I'm just snagging colors now. I'm going in and throwing them in. I'm going to grab some of this yellow, touch up on that reflection. And hopefully yours is pretty close to mine. Hopefully it's better. So, really, letting this get a little tacky right now is probably the best thing before we move on to painting our bottle of cerveza. For kids at home, I'd recommend maybe making this a thing of Coca-Cola, or I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that, but you can make it a soda pop. How we making out over there, Bill?
Yeah, we're going. Little bit at a time.
All right. So while mine's getting a little tacky, just wanted to point out a couple things. Did you get that address, Jessi? Are you going to post that in the comments below? So Jessi's going to post in the comments below. A lot of people at the stores right now completely out of stuff. Locally here in Romulus, New York, Autumn's Harvest Farm, Tim and Sarah Hawes, they both have a lot of meat over there. They got their own butcher shop. They opened a store about a month and a half ago. They're really stepping up to support the community. So Jessi's going to post their address in the comments below. So anyone watching this that, maybe going out tomorrow thinking I got to load up on some stuff, and maybe you've worked up until this moment and you finally have that day, go check out Tim and Sarah. They're open from 11 to 4, 317 tomorrow. Anyone who is elderly, immune system compromised, any reason they shouldn't be out in public, hit them up on their email. Tim and Sarah will go ahead and get you guys some off hours scheduled and try to get you into the store so you can go ahead and pick out what you need. So make sure you guys definitely support local businesses right now. A lot of them are struggling. I can tell you, everybody's kind of in that unsure water right now, and what we want to do now more than ever is, come together. We're one community, one state, one nation. Let's just make sure that we're all there for each other with this. The address for it is 5170 Kings Corner Road, Romulus, New York, and if you need the zip code, 14541. Again, Jessi's going to post that in the comments below for you guys, so that way you can go ahead and check them out. I definitely recommend it. I post pictures of the food I cook all the time. Love it over there. They have a ton of sausage ready to go and stuff like that. So they're not out like everybody else because they're, a supplier for a lot of people. So don't worry in our community. Back to our painting. We've gotten a little tackier, okay? It's not completely dry, but it's something I can live with. I'm going to go ahead and grab my canary yellow. And with that, I'm going to start to put the outline of my bottle. Now, a million ways of doing this, guys. What I'm telling you is just my preference and what I've done over the time. There's a lot of, phenomenal artists out there. You're going to see a lot of them probably while you're flipping around watching YouTube. Big respect, to a lot of those guys out there, a lot of these teachers and artists that are going to step up now more than ever to be there to help the kids in the community with schools shutting down. So check out, a lot of them and what you learn from me. I'm just showing you my way of doing it. So I hope you guys understand that while we're doing this, it's not the only way. So with that being said, I'm going to move into my little liner brush, okay? I'm going to have to load this a couple times because I'm sure I don't have my long bristled one. So I'm going to go ahead and just put the outline of my bottle in. Now, if you want to make it easy, let's just put a rectangle out first, okay? Now, this is not a big rectangle. Okay, pretty simple. We haven't had to add any of the crazy lines. Mine may look a little different, but when you straighten it up, it's actually hopefully pretty square. I've actually gotten used to painting on the side of paintings lately, which I never thought I'd do, but I've been doing classes now. It's just, it doesn't look right when I'm standing in front of a painting anymore. I'm so used to doing them from the side. So, let's just shore up my line, clean it up a little bit right here, and then we'll move on. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to go ahead and on the bottom of this, I'm going to go ahead and put a little happy face. Very shallow, nothing thick, not a big dramatic loop, okay? A very small bow, like you're almost happy.
Almost.
Yeah, you're kind of fighting it a little bit, like, should I laugh? Okay? Now, back to the top of our bottle-ish area. I'm breaking it into shapes because we do have kids joining us today, and sometimes it's a little easier than me just saying, hey, let's outline a bottle. Okay, so I'm breaking it into shapes just to show you guys what I'm doing. I'm going to put another rectangle with this yellow, and I'm going to cross my horizon line. Yours may not cross your horizon line. It does not affect the paint. Okay? You want that to be in the center. So if you're not in the center, now's a good time to just thicken up one of those lines. So right here, we're going to go ahead on the, I guess it'd be the left. I had to think for a second, like, is it flipped around on their way? But I'm just going to actually kind of curve it. And then kind of let it just flow into that. And we're going to go ahead and jump to the other side and do the same thing. Now, if your son's as wet as mine still is, you may have put your hand in the paint. So, it's a good time to let you know. When you wash your hands, you want to wash your hands for 20 seconds. It's a new thing out there. I have no idea why it's a new thing, but apparently it's 20 seconds. Because grubby people haven't been doing it like that for a long time. So at least our new millennial generation knows how to wash their hands. Are you on to...
I'm following you. I'm following
You
you.
haven't even gotten to the bottle yet.
I'm in my own little way, man. I'm in my own groove.
He's gonna have something completely different. I can already see it. I call that going rogue. You're gonna be like, "What'd you guys paint?" And I'm getting all sorts of things. Let's just keep it clean. Okay, so we have this all set now, my shape. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna grab my little flat brush again, and I'm gonna just put little crisscrosses, pulling from one side with a slight little bow. So all the way up, just that little kind of, just very, not a dramatic bow. Once we have that part done, okay, we can start, doing all sorts of things from here. You can move on to the top, you can work towards the label. I like to let this part dry for a minute because I'm going to go ahead and throw some label that'll probably get me copyright sued or something like that, and hopefully not. If anyone was wondering, it's just a bottle of beer with a C on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and at this point, I'm going to grab a little of this brown paint. This is called nutmeg. I call it brown paint. And I know there's a whole bunch of colors, but not really great because I think everybody kind of has different names for things. So if I had to guess, it's like a melted Hershey bar. I have like so many things that I could say, but it's a kid-friendly environment, so like I'm holding back, guys. So yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and very lightly with this liner brush, I'm going to throw a very light, say it with me now, class, very light, not thick, very thin, light line with that brown in there, okay? No one said it, did they? Say it with me now, class. Come on now. Listen, class participants, this is going to be on your final. All right, so we're going to go back over here, and I'm just going to trace the outside. If it mixes with the yellow or the yellow ends up on it, it doesn't matter. Some of you it may, Then I'm going to cross over here over the top part, okay? Just kind of gives that bend in the bottle. I'm going to go on the other side and just throw a little broken line. When I say broken line, the paint's not, it's kind of like a, just a bunch of dashes. The paint's going to break. I don't care it's doing that. I'm not trying to make it a solid line. I'd like to thank you all for sharing and getting Peyton Manning on this with me tonight. Still no? No. All right. Come on, guys. If he wants, he can join us in person. As long as he hasn't been around anyone overseas and all that stuff. So we're going to go ahead and I add a little bit of that brown. I'm going to just kind of, with a lot of that paint is off my brush now, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of fluff that middle line by moving it around just to kind of give that coloration change. And I'll move this a little closer so you guys can see. Okay. I understand that I don't have the best setup and I'm not the YouTube wizard and everything with that. This is kind of last minute, so if you guys could bear with me while we get all this stuff going, definitely would appreciate it. I'm sure things will change as we go, and recommendations that you guys post, we'll definitely take a look at that and try to make it a little better tomorrow night. We're going to be going into the top part of this, and I'm going to add some white to this here in a little bit, but I'm going to let that just continue to dry for a second. I'm going to go ahead and put the top part of my bottle on, and with doing that, I actually go back to this blue, this navy blue. And I'm staying with my liner brush. Now, the shape I'm making is I'm going to go ahead and just run a line straight up. Just to make sure you guys can see. 2 lines straight up. Like my martini. Sorry. And then I'm going to go ahead and do another very, very, I'd almost say not even, but a slight bowed part to that on top. As you can tell, not really. With that being done, I'm now going to go ahead and move over to my white paint. I know the kids at home were loving that one. Okay, so back to our liner brush. That blue line we just put on, I'm going to go ahead and just lightly trace over that. Okay, I'm going to take that white and just carry it straight down my bottle. Okay, just to make sure you can still see, coming right down. We'll be carrying it off to the side, but I'm not going all the way to the corner at this point, or to the outside edge of the paint, okay? I'm kind of leaving it off the side just to kind of give it this little reflective look to allow the paint to break. After I get that in, just kind of gives it that look right there. I know some pro YouTubers probably like, man, this is horrible, he keeps grabbing this stuff. I don't care. So, on the bottom here, I'm going to be going and just adding a couple little white little highlights, nothing crazy, maybe a little line going across the bottom there. Just a couple little strokes, okay? Up at the top area, I'm going to want some bubbly in there. A little carbonation,
Just a happy little bubbles.
happy little bubbles.
Happy little bubbles.
And what I'm doing is I'm just tapping the canvas. It's our secret. You're probably watching and you're like, man, it's amazing. How did he do that? We're not going to tell anyone any different. Keep that our secret. Now I'm just putting that line in on this side as well. Carrying that white down, allowing the paint to break completely on it. Bill's just started painting his Coca-Cola yellow and has not followed any of the instructions so far. So, hopefully, you guys at home followed those instructions. Yours looks like an old English.
I haven't had a Coca-Cola in a long time. Look more like Duff's.
Tough. Maybe we were predicted painting together on The Simpsons.
That's right.
So, still letting this area dry. It's still a little tacky through there. So it depends on the humidity in your house, if you have heat on. If that's still wet, we're going to move on, and I'm going to go ahead and put my lime in there. I know what you're thinking. Aren't you supposed to put the lime in the coconut? And I guess you can put it on other things.
I need to wash my hands for 20 seconds.
Wash your hands for 20 seconds. So, how I made that was I did this bowed line and then I did a straight line. I know. Thanks. Go ahead and add a little color to the top part again. Now, the part that I have inside, and I did stop in between the blue lines, the part that I have inside, I'm not putting that second layer of color on. I don't want that. The glass is going to actually dull that color out in my painting, I think. So I'm not adding it. But I am jumping back into canary yellow. And with canary yellow, I'm just pulling lines going to the outside. Always from the center, pulling to the outside. Getting some of that yellow in there for the lime. Now the next part, I didn't have green for, a dark green. Because like some of you, you're probably like, I don't have those paints. So what I did is I grabbed, while the green's a little wet, I went ahead and I grabbed a little bit of that Hershey Brown. See, I can make up my own paint names. Named after the city, right?
Not the chocolate bar.
No. That way I don't get sued.
Exactly.
Right? But I threw some of that in there. If it comes out dark, grab some of that green and just go right over it again. And it'll dull that out. But it'll kind of give it that darker green look to it from a distance. From a distance. Yeah, see, I can get sued all kinds of different ways. I think we might have to like edit these in the future to be like, Dale, stop using copyright stuff. All right. Down here, I'm pretty dry in the middle of my bottle. So, going back to the white, sticking with the liner brush, I'm going to go ahead and just put a little rectangle box right here. Almost a square, but not quite. Going back to my navy blue, not rinsing the white off or any of that. I'm mixing all my colors with this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that same rectangle, but I'm going to start where the white ends, and I'm going to just slightly slant it towards the end of the bottle. I don't know why. When I designed this bottle, something in me just was like, man, that's the way to do it. It does look like a Duff bottle. That's awesome.
I know.
So we're gonna go. We're gonna dabble back into the white, staying with the liner brush, and right underneath, I'm just gonna put two little small lines right there. Jumping into our yellow. Just like a little circle. And then, because I wish I was at this beach, I'm going to put a D on this bottle. So I'm going to make a little fancy.
Oh, it's a personalized bottle?
Yeah. Put my own name on there. Should I put yours, Bill?
No, you should go with Dale. I think that would be a smart choice.
Jumping back into that white, just going to put couple little light highlights going across this top part of the bottle. Okay, very lightly, and I'm keeping that little slant. When you put it on with the slant, it's giving that bottle more of a three-dimensional look. So that's why I'm doing it that way. And then I'm taking the white and I'm just kind of putting little knobs on the side of the bottle. And I'll bring this a little closer so you guys can see. Like I said, any suggestions you guys have, feel free to leave them in the comments, and Jessi and I will do our best to try to implement those things into our feeds. For those of you that joined us a little bit after the fact, the painting for tomorrow, Jess, did you take it? Tomorrow, for St. Patrick's Day, we'll be going ahead and we will be painting. It's really cool Irish flag, horseshoe, rainbow, clover, and my favorite, the lucky number 7 upside down, casino style.
They're all closed in Sydney.
I know. Okay, look at Bill go. Man,
Just a little happy duff.
little happy Duff. Are you gonna name it?
I think I'm going to name it
Duff.
Duff.
You are. All right. So hopefully all of you have caught up now. If you haven't, then I'll give it just a quick second. We'll move on and we're going to add the arm. Again, while we're waiting, for those of you that didn't know, the Artist Lounge is a local family-run gallery right here in Seneca Falls, New York. Jessi, today is her 2-year anniversary. It's awesome. Since she's opened, we've met over 60 different local artists in the gallery, countless people. We've had well over 100 parties. It's been awesome meeting everybody. For those of you guys that are at home, you're the reason we're even bothering to do this right now, because we know how much enjoyment a lot of you guys had coming up here. And right now, things just better safe than sorry. So we thought, hey, we can still hang out with you guys, doing this. So we hope you guys, appreciate the time taken to do these, and we hope you look forward to it. Make sure you guys, comment, tag your friends. Tomorrow, as many people that can jump on, the better.
Amy from SOAR says hi.
Hi, Amy from SOAR. So, I'm like horrible at this, by the way, guys. I could never be a full-time YouTuber. I'm going back into that flat brush here. I have paint on it, but I just went ahead and tapped as much of it off as I can. Like I said, I like to mix the colors. So I'm going to go in. Load it onto the brush, and I'm going to go ahead and figure out, in the original painting, I kind of looked at it like, the arm of a chair. So I'm going to stick with that theme, and I like to figure out first, where does my chair go? So I'm going to put 2 lines in, and the other one's got to match it. Getting just a little bigger at the bottom, okay? You can clean up these lines if you want. And then because we're going near our bottle, I'm going to be jumping back into that liner brush, and I'm just going to be making this area right here easier for me to paint around. So I'm just thickening it up a little bit. And on the other side, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. This is just going to ensure when I switch over to that flat brush, I don't have to be so meticulous. I can be nice and sloppy. Okay. I know what you're thinking. How do I make this three-dimensional? Take the end, and it's not going to work if you run it angled. Take the end and run it straight down. Just to make it a little clearer for you guys, paint it around the outside of the bottle, and the line is going straight down. I'd also like to thank Peyton Manning for joining us tonight. He's always been an inspiration to me, one of the funniest guys I know.
His publicist called, he couldn't make it.
Guys, supposed to be sharing and liking and all that. I want to paint with Peyton. It could be like a new series.
Painting with Peyton.
That's right. Okay, so I'm jumping into this 3-inch brush, and now I'm going to go ahead and fill in my chair, covering up that background. Like I said, acrylic paint dries flat. I'm not using any mediums with it, so I'm just going ahead and throwing lines in. I'm sticking them side to side. You guys can paint it however you want. If you want to paint with dots, that's cool too. Sit there dotting that over and over again. Nothing says you can't.
Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead, Bill.
But, Tom Brady said he was interested in painting with you. Peyton Manning couldn't make it.
Hey, listen, I'll always settle for the second best quarterback. It's like when I found myself watching Jeff Gordon be after Dale Earnhardt Sr. wasn't racing anymore. It was like, he still watched him. Some people, were conflicted with that, not me. Or Jeff Gordon, Tom Gordon. I think every book I read. Tom Gordon was on the Red Sox, I think.
The what?
The Red Sox back in the day. Stephen King. So while you guys are at home, one of the really cool books I read back in the day was The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. Recommend that one. Could be our painting book club choice of the week. I'm going to take that 2-inch brush. You can switch to your liner brush if you want. I'm going to go ahead and run a parallel line alongside. My chair. Now, this is where things get a little different. I'm going to take a little brown, just a little bit, add it to that white, mix it up in there, and then I'm going to go ahead and just go right down that initial line, and then I'm going to just pull that down. This is changing the color of the white. And then if it's not dark enough, just grab a little more brown and put it in there. If it's wet, it'll just keep mixing. Now I'm pulling straight down with these, kind of at an angle. I'll go ahead and add a little crisper dark line right there. All right. While I have that color loaded on here, we're going to move into our final step of this painting, okay? Besides signing it, right? I'm going to take what's left on there, and I'm just going to go right around this bottle. Our sun's right here reflecting on it, so just kind of tapping the canvas and then fluffing it side to side. Just adding a little bit of shadow in there. All right. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it complete. And I'm going to go ahead and put my signature on. And then, I know what you're thinking, like, I'm going to log off. No, I'm going to introduce you to my buddy Bill. And you guys can, if you want, stay on. You can see how he ended up with his. Before I end, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab some green with this one. And I'm going to go ahead and slap on my signature. And can't forget my 2020. Start dating all my stuff. So, thank you guys for taking the time to paint with me tonight. Like I said, we'll be doing this every day. Hopefully you guys can share with friends out there. Join us tomorrow night, and if nothing else, hopefully it gave you a little bit of normalcy in these days. So with that being said, thank you again. Check out Autumn's Harvest Farm. Best meat, you won't regret it. Romulus, New York. Jessi went ahead and threw the stuff, hopefully, in the comments. If she hasn't, we'll make sure we did. She's nodding yes, so we're good with that. So let me introduce you to my friend Bill here, and you guys can paint with him at the end. Mr. Clinton.
Good evening. Hello. For those of you who are still on step 3, that's what I'm doing. So, as you can see, I have a strange bottle. I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty strange. Doesn't look like a soda pop bottle I've ever had. It's more like a medicine bottle. So,
What's your next step, Bill? Let's walk us through.
well, as you can see, my bottle doesn't have a lime yet because somebody was hogging the green.
Is that why Jessi kept trying to throw
Yeah,
the green?
that's why she kept
We're the
taking your
worst
bottles and bringing
paint
them over
club
here.
ever.
I'm not gonna say that it was the
Hashtag
reason
virtual
why.
paint club.
I'm not gonna say it's the reason why, but there was a period of time where I just waited for like the orange and the red and a couple other colors.
We have like a whole cabinet just. Alright, so listen, I gotta make amends with Bill here. I got him some green, guys. In case you were wondering what kind of green it was, thinking like it's lime green. No, we chose spring green for this picture. Brought to you by Apple Barrel.
I personally, at my own house, I use Apple Barrel and I paint with them on a regular basis. But I have to thank Dale and Jessi. Without them, I wouldn't be painting. And as you can see, I need a lot of work. But practice Practice makes perfect. So I'm going to try to put a little lime here.
Do you remember? Bowed line and then a straight line, right?
Right. Bowed line. I'm thinking bowed line's going to go the back way. It's going to be the long line, correct?
Longest line.
Longest line.
Greatest line.
The greatest line. One of the greatest lines ever line. And then it's going to be a straight line. Straight line. Color this in a little green, little happy green. Little happy green. I think you got a little brown on there too, if I'm not correct.
He wasn't listening to me, guys. I tried.
Got a little.
See, so Bill missed my story about the brown because I didn't have a dark green, so do a little brown.
A little brown.
Grab brown, right? Now go hit your outside peel.
A little rind. Little rind reason.
I didn't know. I thought it was called peel.
Little rind reason. Little brown lime. Little brown lime. Little brown lime. Little coconut.
So now we're gonna go ahead and grab some yellow.
Or grab a little yellow.
And you're gonna not knock all your paintbrushes down. I'm gonna go ahead and start in the middle and just do some lines out, like. Yeah, there you go. Oh, start in the middle. Stay right in the middle, going to the outside.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I like that.
There we go.
Oh, I got you. Because the lime, when you see it in a cartoon, it's got like little yellow lines.
Like sunbeams.
Like sunbeams. Royal sunbeams. Wonderful beams. Amazing beams.
Tomorrow people are gonna like, we want to paint with Bill, not Dale. I'll be that guy. I'll go from being the teacher to that guy in the background that just designs you paintings.
like what other paint do you need now, Mr. Clinton?
All right, so you can go ahead and throw your name in there now. You're pretty good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What's the generic brand of this soda pop?
Buff?
Buff?
Yeah. Oh man.
Why don't we call it Buff?
Get some.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see. Buff. Spell it with a B. Spell Buff with a B.
Buff. Australian for fat.
Australian for not trying so hard.
Watch, it's not Australian for that. It's something even worse.
Yeah,
it's like,
probably something
I'm
worse.
sorry, Australia.
I'm gonna spell it with one F. We'll call it Buff. We'll add a little Buff.
This is gonna end up being a beer somewhere, hopefully one day. I'd like to buy this.
You know, inspiration.
One of the local wineries is gonna be like, put out Buff wine.
He's got something.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we're gonna end up logging off here. If you get a chance tomorrow, 7 o'clock, 11 to 4, go check out Autumn's Harvest Farm. Tim and Sarah, they are ready to help you guys out. Thanks. Look forward to seeing the comments. Please try not to be too brutal on me. Hopefully Mr. Clinton will be joining us tomorrow. So from the Artist Lounge of Seneca Falls. Oh, go
We
ahead.
have a request for a Bill Clinton impression.
Oh, here we go.
Oh no, are there still kids on?
Cover your ears, kids.
That's about the best I can do as a Bill Clinton. Just like that.
All right. From the Artist Lounge of Seneca Falls, I'm Dale. That's Jessi. This is Bill, and we're signing off. See you guys tomorrow.